بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين، حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. صلى الله عليك يا رسول الله، صلى الله عليك وعلى أهل بيتك المظلومين. صلى الله عليك يا أبا عبد الله، يا رحمة الله الواسعة ويا باب نجاة الأمة. يا ليتنا كنا معكم سادتي فنفوز فوزا عظيما. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ومن آياته أن خلق لكم من أنفسكم أزواجا لتسكنوا إليها وجعل بينكم مودة ورحمة، إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يتفكرون. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. No religion sanctifies the family the way the religion of Islam does. All religions sanctify families. However, the religion of Islam treats the family in a very different way. Marriage is treated in a very different way. Raising children and upbringing is something that is stressed about in the Quran. And we find that one of the major themes in Islam and one of the major themes of the Quran is the family. According to the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi, he says, "Ma buniya fil Islami bina'un ahabbu ila Allahi min at-tazweej." No foundation and institution has been built in the religion of Islam more beloved to Allah than the institution of marriage, than the institution of the family. And we see that the Quran stresses on the importance of the family. Sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala orders people to show respect to the parents. وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَن لَا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. There are several verses that insist on respecting the parents and dealing with the parents kindly. There are verses that talk about marriage. وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ, and from amongst the signs of Allah, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ أن خلق لكم من أنفسكم أزواجا لتسكنوا إليها. From the signs of Allah, that He created for you from amongst yourselves spouses and pairs. He created you in pairs. Why? لتسكنوا إليها, so that you may find tranquility and love with one another. لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً. And Allah places the love and the compassion within the relationship. In another verse, Allah says in the Quran, وَأَنْكِحُوا الْأَيَامَ مِنْكُمْ وَالصَّالِحِينَ مِنْ عِبَادِكُمْ وَإِمَائِكُمْ إِنْ يَكُونُوا فُقَرَاءَ يُغْنِهُمُ اللَّهُ مِنْ فَضْلِهِ. And marry, help those who are not able to get married help them get married. Support them in their marriage. If they're poor, Allah will support them. You see that there are several verses that talk about the importance of raising children properly, having sound children, not only physically healthy, but also spiritually healthy. This is what the Quran stresses about. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes the dua of several prophets. And this is one of them, is the dua of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi. وَالَّذِينَ يَقُولُونَ رَبَّنَا هَبْ لَنَا مِنْ أَزْوَاجِنَا وَذُرِّيَّاتِنَا قُرَّةَ أَعْيُنٍ وَاجْعَلْنَا لِلْمُتَّقِينَ إِمَامًا. And those who say, رَبَّنَا هَبْ لَنَا مِنْ أَزْوَاجِنَا وَذُرِّيَّاتِنَا. Oh Allah, grant us from our spouses and from our children joy for our eyes. وَاجْعَلْنَا لِلْمُتَّقِينَ إِمَامًا. So you see that there is this insistence on having a family, having a healthy family, dealing with the family in a proper way. And the family is a major theme in the Quran. Why? The first reason is because humans are naturally in need of a family. Humans naturally need to socialize. You need to speak with someone. You need to talk with someone. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us with desires. We have social desires. We have physical desires. We have spiritual desires. We have psychological desires. All of these desires will be satisfied within the family. This is one reason, because we are naturally in need of having a family. And another reason is because through the family, you will be able to reach your highest potential. As a human being, as one person, you are limited. You could only do so much. But once you're married, you will be able to achieve higher goals. You will be able to reach higher potentials, stronger. You will become stronger. Your voice will be heard. You will be able to achieve much more. And this is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes in the Quran how the prophets of Allah, they used to always do dua to have a family. Now, why would a prophet of God do dua to have family? Why would a prophet of God do dua to have children? Because the prophet understands that in order to fulfill their mission properly, they have to start with the family. Because the prophet understands that it's through the family that their voice is going to be multiplied and their voice is going to be heard. This is why Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, at an old age, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him his two sons, Ismail and Ishaq. Alhamdulillah alladhi wahaba li ala al-kibari Ismail wa Ishaq. He says, all praise is due to Allah who granted me my children at an old age. Ala al-kibar. Inna rabbi la sami'ud du'a. My Lord answers all of my du'as. My Lord listens to what I ask. And then he doesn't stop there. He wasn't just satisfied and content that Allah gave him children. He says, Rabbi ij'alni muqim as-salat wa min dhurriyyati rabbana wa taqabbal du'a. When he asks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give him the privilege and the opportunity to pray, he says, oh Allah, give that to me and give it to my family as well. In another verse, Allah talks about Prophet Zakaria alayhi salam. Prophet Zakaria also reached an old age and he didn't have children. And this is in the beginning of Surah Maryam, chapter 19. Kaf, ha, ya, ayn, sad. Dhikru rahmati rabbika abdahu Zakaria. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala begins by speaking about the mercy that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestowed upon Prophet Zakaria alayhi salam. إِذْ نَادَى رَبَّهُ نِدَاءً خَفِيًّا. He goes in the mihrab and he asks his Lord a silent prayer. Nida'an khafiyya. No one knew what was in the heart of Zakaria other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. إِذْ نَادَى رَبَّهُ نِدَاءً خَفِيًّا قال رب إني وهن العظم مني واشتعل الرأس شيبا ولم أكن بدعائك رب شقيا وإني خفت الموالي من ورائي وكانت امرأتي عاقرا فهب لي من لدنك وليا. يرثني ويرث من آل يعقوب واجعله ربي رضيا. He says, oh Allah, give me, I'm an old man and my wife, she cannot have children. We've been married for such a long time and she hasn't been getting pregnant. But oh Allah, give me a child. Habli min ladunka waliyan yarithuni, to inherit me. وَيَرِثُ min ali Ya'qub, and he inherits from Ya'qub. And then he says, he says, وَاجْعَلْهُ رَبِّ رَضِيًّا, make him be someone who you are satisfied with. This is a very important dua. The prophets, they don't just ask Allah to have children, to have a progeny. They ask Allah to have healthy, sound children in physical health and in spiritual health. This is the most important thing. Because the prophets understand that the only way they could deliver their message is through a family, through having children, through their offspring. And this is why Ibrahim alayhi salam, you see Ibrahim, he's always doing dua for dhurriyah. قَالَ وَمِن ذُرِّيَّتِي, Allah gives him the position of imamah. He says, what about my children? He's always worried about his family, because he knows that it's through his family that he's going to spread tawheed. And this is the same thing with Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. Rasulullah spread the religion of Islam through his family, through his wife Khadija, through his daughter Fatima, through his son-in-law Amir al-Mu'mineen, through his grandchildren Imam al-Hasan and Imam al-Hussein. And this is why Rasulullah, he tells Imam al-Hussein, he says about Imam al-Hussein, Husaynun minni wa ana min Husayn, ahabballahu man ahabba Husayna. Hussein is from me. That's not enough. And I am from Hussein. My religion and my mission and my legacy will be complete through Hussein. And then he says, may Allah love the one who loves Hussein. So we see that the Quran insists on the family, and the prophets of Allah, they insisted on the family. But today, how are families today amongst us? What is the situation with families today? Today you see many families falling apart. The divorce rate is high. Many families are crumbling. Many individuals cannot get along with one another. And when a family falls apart, when two people, they split with one another, that means society begins to crumble. That means society begins to fall apart. The fabric of society is destroyed. Today, how many houses in the United States are raised by one parent, are led by one parent? When a house is led by one parent, now yes, maybe the mother, she could do more than 110%. She could do more than what she's supposed to do. Maybe the father could do more than what he's supposed to do. However, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us, and a child in the house is supposed to be with a father and with a mother. A child is in need of a father and a mother. Now someone might say, yes, I could fill in that position. Yes, no one's saying you can't fill that position. But the child is in need of something that you will not be able to provide, because no one could fill the shoes of another person. A mother cannot fill the shoes of the father, and the father cannot fill the shoes of the mother. This is why in Islam, divorce and separation, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it very difficult. It's so easy to get married in Islam, especially in the Shia school of thought. Witnesses are recommended. It's mustahab to have witnesses when you get married. However, with divorce, witnesses are required, and they're a condition for the divorce to be complete, to be valid. And they have to be two adil witnesses. They have to be two just witnesses. Meaning you have to find two individuals that are adil, that are just, that the qualifications of adalah apply to them, and they have to hear the divorce in front of them. That's when the divorce will take place. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes divorce difficult, not to make the lives of individuals difficult, but to preserve the fabric of society, to preserve the family. This is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives solutions whenever there is disagreement within the family. وَإِنْ خِفْتُمْ شِقَاقًا بَيْنَهُمَا فَابْعَثُوا حَكَمًا مِّنْ أَهْلِهِ وَحَكَمًا مِّنْ أَهْلِهَا. If you are afraid that they're fighting and they're disagreeing with one another, bring a hakam, bring a judge from his family, and bring a judge from her family. You see, this is how far the religion of Islam goes to preserve family. Because when a family is preserved, then society will be preserved. Then everyone will feel safe. Everyone and everything will be preserved. And it's highly recommended and highly rewarding to bring two people together. If you see two people, they are at the edge of divorce, they're not doing well with one another, try to get involved. Try to bring them together. According to the hadith, إصلاح ذات البين خير من عامة الصلاة والصيام. If you bring two people that are in disagreement, you bring them together, this is better than fasting and praying. If you're able to unite two people that are not doing well with one another. But today, we find in some communities, if we hear of a divorce or a fight going on between a husband and a wife, there are some people, they come and they fuel the fight. They come and they add to it. They go to the girl, they tell her, yeah, go ahead, divorce him, do this and do that. They go to the guy and they tell him things to make it worse, instead of trying to reconcile, instead of trying to bring them together. This is what our religion expects from us. And as a religious institution, as mosques, as places of worship, we have a duty to teach people what it means to be married. What are the rights? What are the regulations when it comes to getting married? You know, I have many people, they come to me, they say, Sayyid, we want to do the katb kitab, we want to get married. And they're on a rush, they just want to fill it, they want to do it and leave. I tell them, wait. Do you want to hear about what are the responsibilities of a husband to the wife? Do you want to hear about what are the responsibilities and duties of a wife towards the husband? Some people, they sit, they listen, and other people, they say, Sayyid, we have to go. We have to get ready for the party. And then, sooner or later, you hear that there's a fight that has broken out. Why? Because they did not know what they were getting themselves into. They just want to check something on their bucket list. I got married. Do you even know what you're getting yourself into? Do you even know what are the rules? What are the responsibilities of the husband towards the wife? What are the responsibilities of the wife to the husband? What are the duties when you get married? Because marriage is a contract. It's a relationship. It's a contract. And who's making you halal with one another? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you are bringing Allah as the third party, Allah is making you halal with one another. And when Allah makes you halal with one another, Allah has restrictions. Allah has rules. Allah says this is expected from the husband and this is expected from the wife. This is expected from you as a parent. This is expected from you as a son or as a daughter to your parents. There are rules, there are regulations, but a lot of people don't know that. And when they don't know that, then you see families and marriages, they begin to fall apart. Now, what are the major reasons? What are some reasons, the major reasons why families are falling apart in this era, in this time, in this contemporary time that we're living in? I summarized them to 5 major points. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. The first major reason why marriages and families begin to fall apart is selfishness. If someone is going to be selfish in a relationship, then the whole family is going to suffer. The whole family is going to suffer because one person decides on being selfish. And a family, when we say family, we mean you enjoy life with one another, you eat with one another, you go through difficulties with one another, you go through challenges with one another. But there are some people, they're willing to be on a vacation, they're willing to have fun, but as soon as things get difficult, right away they back out. Right away they say, I don't want to be involved. This is selfishness. This is being selfish, and a selfish person is not only going to destroy their own family, they're going to destroy society. A selfish person is someone who doesn't care. You see, for example, a father, he goes and he gets his wife pregnant and he doesn't care. He goes, he travels, he does whatever he wants to do. She's pregnant, she has to take care of the kids, she has to take care of the family while he's doing whatever he wants to do. This is selfish. This is not taking his share in the relationship. There are some guys, every night they want to go out and smoke shisha. Every night they want to go out, they want to party, they want to smoke shisha, but then they also want to get married. You either choose the marriage life or you choose the single life. You can't have both. If you want to have both, you're going to make your marriage a nightmare, and you're going to make your wife's marriage a nightmare, her life a nightmare. Or sometimes you see it's the other way around. It's not always the man. Sometimes you see, and this, I hear about this many times, the husband, he's gone to work from morning until night. The moment he comes home, she tells him, do this and do that, do this and do that, thinking only about herself, not considering what he's going through, not considering the challenges, not considering all that he's putting into the marriage, into the relationship. Right away she tells him, do this and do that. Being very selfish. Expecting from your partner what they cannot tolerate. One day Imam Ali alayhi salam, he comes to the home. He comes to the home and he sees Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam, she's home with the children, but there's no food. So he asks her, oh Fatima, there's no food. She tells him, oh Amir al-Mu'mineen, there was nothing in the house. There was nothing in the house for me to cook food. He tells her, oh Fatima, why didn't you tell me? She tells him, oh Amir al-Mu'mineen, oh my husband, when we first got married, Rasulullah, he came and he told me, لا تكلفيه ما لا يطيق. Don't come and expect something from your husband that he cannot do. And I know that you, if you are able to, you're going to bring food to the house. But if you can't bring, I'm not going to make your life miserable and expect something from you that you cannot do. I know you always bring, but when you don't bring, it doesn't mean that you chose not to bring. It means that that day you couldn't bring anything. And I'm not going to make your life miserable. So the hadith says that Amir al-Mu'mineen, he left the house. He left the house in the middle of day, and he went and he borrowed a dirham. He borrowed a dirham to buy food for the family. He borrowed it. As he was walking back home, Amir al-Mu'mineen, he saw one of his companions and one of his friends by the name of Al-Miqdad ibn al-Aswad. He saw Al-Miqdad outside as well. So he tells Miqdad, oh Miqdad, what are you doing outside right now? It was probably at a time during the day where no one is out during that time. It's hot. No one is out. Everyone is resting. Miqdad tells him, oh Amir al-Mu'mineen, I don't want to have to answer you. Amir al-Mu'mineen tells him, what's wrong? Tell me, why are you out during this day? Al-Miqdad says, I left my home and my children were crying, so I came out to find something for them to eat. I came out to find something to take home to the family. Amir al-Mu'mineen, right away, he takes that dirham that he had borrowed and he gives it to Al-Miqdad. Because Amir al-Mu'mineen knows that Fatima al-Zahra is not going to cause a fuss. She's not going to cause a problem if Amir al-Mu'mineen goes home empty-handed that day, because she knows he tried his best. And Allah speaks about this family, وَيُؤْثِرُونَ عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ وَلَوْ كَانَ بِهِمْ خَصَاصَةٌ. What does this mean? Allah describes the believers, those who compromise, those who take away from themselves, from their own pleasure for other people. This is what makes a sound society, and this is what makes a healthy family. Someone who's not selfish, someone who's willing to give for the sake of others, someone who doesn't care only about their own interest. And this is what we're learning from Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. A man who sacrificed his life and his family and his children and everything he has for the sake of faith, for the sake of the greater good of the community. So here's the difference. Some people are selfish and other people are selfless. And everyone loves the one who's selfless. The one who is not selfish, the one who doesn't only focus on their own pleasure and satisfaction. This is the first point. Being selfish, it destroys marriages. It destroys families. The second is when there is an error in communication, when there's communication problems. You find some families, you find some marriages, as soon as they fight with one another, as soon as there is an agreement, they don't talk to one another. Sometimes days, weeks, months pass and they're not talking to one another. If you're not talking to one another, how do you expect to reconcile? How do you expect to fix things if you're not going to talk to one another? This is one. And second, some people try to talk, but they can't talk. Every time they go and they talk, 5 minutes later, what does it become? A fight. It becomes a fight. They go and they start talking to one another, but then 5 minutes later, they start yelling at each other, and it turns into a fight. Now, communication is key to any relationship, to any healthy relationship. At your work, if you want to have a healthy time, you want to keep your job, you have to communicate. In the family, in school, wherever you are, you have to communicate. And this is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us the bayan. He gave us the ability to communicate. Allamahul bayan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us the ability to interact, to communicate, to speak. But communication, it's an art by itself. There are some people that don't know how to communicate. There are some people that they think communicating means just talking, right? Some people, they go and they say, yeah, I talk to my family all the time. But the whole time he's talking, he's never listening. Communication, it means listening and speaking as well. It doesn't only mean talking. For some people, communicating means just talking, going and saying, do this, do that, do this, do that, and I communicated with my family. Imam Ali alayhi salam, he describes a friend. In one hadith, he says, كَانَ لِي فِي مَا مَضَى أَخٌ فِي اللَّهِ. And he describes some of the qualities of his friend. One of the qualities, he says, وَكَانَ إِذَا غُلِبَ عَلَى الْكَلَامِ لَمْ يُغْلَبْ عَلَى السُّكُوتِ. My friend, some say this was Uthman ibn Mad'un, one of the friends of Amir al-Mu'mineen. He says, إِذَا غُلِبَ عَلَى الْكَلَامِ لَمْ يُغْلَبْ عَلَى السُّكُوتِ. If he was a person, if other people were better than him in talking, no one was better than him in listening. And Amir al-Mu'mineen describes that as a very good quality to have. وَكَانَ عَلَى مَا يَسْمَعْ أَحْرَصْ مِنْهُ عَلَى أَنْ يَتَكَلَّمْ. He was always careful to listen before speaking. This is a very important trait to have. This is a very important, a good quality to have in every field that you are. Whether it's your family, whether it's your work, whether it's your business, whether anything that you're doing. Be a person who is listening, who wants to see listening. And the famous saying says that if speaking is silver, then silence is golden. Silence is golden. Listen. When you listen, this brings the hikmah. This brings the wisdom. Of course, communicating is an art. It's a challenge. Because every person communicates in a different way. And in a relationship, it's always the man that has a difficult task communicating. For the man, communicating is very difficult. You know, sometimes a man, he goes to his wife and he tells her, this dress makes you look good. She'll tell him, so does that mean my other dress doesn't make me look good? Or today, you are very beautiful. She tells him, does that mean yesterday I was not beautiful? This dress makes you look skinny. Are you calling me fat? This is a challenge. And a lot of people go through this challenge. This is why communicating, it's an art. It's a skill to have. Some people are very good at it and some people are not good at it. There's an author by the name of Gary Chapman. He wrote a book by the name of The 5 Love Languages. The 5 languages of love. The 5 love languages. And in that book, he talks about how everyone needs their own type of communication. Maybe the love that I want is different from the love that my wife wants. But I come and I treat my wife the same way that I like to be treated. Everyone has something different. Everyone in a relationship, they have a different type of communication. There are different ways of communicating your love, communicating what this person needs. And a marriage is an institute where everyone should feel satisfied. Everyone should feel pleased. So he mentions that there are 5 languages of love. The first is words of affirmation. What does this mean? This means you tell this person, you know, this dress looks very good on you. This suit looks very nice on you. Thank you very much for what you did. You look very, you know, saying something that this person is going to be pleased with. I appreciate what you're doing. Some people, this is what makes them happy. after working, after doing whatever they do, they just need someone to come and tell them, thank you, I appreciate what you're doing. And this is what Islam teaches us. This is what the Quran teaches us. مَنْ لَمْ يَشْكُرِ الْمَخْلُوقِ لَمْ يَشْكُرِ الْخَالِقِ. You have to always appreciate, you have to always thank the one who's doing anything good. And if you don't appreciate, you don't show thanks to the creation, it means you have not showed thanks to the Creator. This is one. Second is to spend quality time with your family. Some people, all they want is someone to sit with them, eat with them, have lunch, have dinner, spend time with them. Sometimes this is all it takes to keep the relationship going, to keep the relationship healthy, to spend time with them, to talk with them, to spend quality time with them. We're not just talking about spending just time, just sitting with a person. Sit, have dinner, have lunch. You know, in the United States, very few people, I read that around 40% eat and sit and have lunch and dinner with one another. Everyone else, they're standing while they're having dinner, they're walking while they're on their way to work, they're eating at work, at school, never sitting as a family and gathering with one another. And studies show that families that eat with one another, that sit with one another, their chances of staying together are going to be much stronger. They're going to be with one another, spending quality time with one another, sitting and talking, talk about current events, talk about some things that are going on. This is considered spending time with one another. And this is something that is recommended also in Islam. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi, he tells his companions, لِبَقَاءِ أَحَدُكُمْ عِنْدَ أَهْلِهِ أَفْضَلْ مِنَ الْإِعْتِكَافِ فِي مَسْجِدِ هَذَا. He says for someone to spend quality time with their family, this is better than i'tikaf, 3 days of worship, 3 days of fasting in the masjid of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. For someone to spend 1 hour with their family. So this is quality time. Third, receiving gifts. There are some people, they're what they call today as gold diggers, right? They want to receive gifts. That's what keeps them happy. That's what keeps the relationship going. If the gifts are stopped, then that means something's going to be very wrong in the relationship very soon. The gifts have to keep coming. Every few months, you know, you come, it's your birthday, it's our anniversary, it's, you know, this and that. The gifts have to keep coming. Sometimes the men, they want the gifts. Sometimes the women, they want the gifts. And there's nothing wrong with giving gifts. If a person realizes that their partner, what keeps them happy is to give them gifts, what's wrong with that? You give a gift. It's not going to make your life miserable. Especially for a husband, he has to spend on his wife whether he likes it or not. So he could consider it as a gift. It's a part of the nafaqah. And according to the hadith of Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam, he says, tahadu, tahabu. Once you give a gift, this will strengthen the relationship. Not only with, you know, a husband and a wife, with friends, with family members, extended family. Giving a gift is a good thing. It will bring the love in the relationship. It is narrated that one day, a group of people, they came to Imam Ali alayhi salam and they brought him a gift. أُتِيَ عَلِيٌّ عَلَيْهِ السَّلَامِ بِهَدِيَّةٍ نَيْرُوز. It was the event of Nowruz, the New Year. So the beginning of the spring. So they came and they brought Imam Ali a gift. فَقَالَ عَلَيْهِ السَّلَامِ مَا هَذَا? He says, what is this? They tell him, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, al-Yawm al-Nayruz. Oh Amir al-Mu'mineen, today is Nowruz, today is Nayruz. It's the beginning of the New Year. So Amir al-Mu'mineen, jokingly he said, اصنعوا لنا كل يوم النيروز. Let every day be Nayruz for us. Let every day be Nowruz for us. And meaning that let the gifts keep coming. And of course, Nowruz means a beginning of a new day. And what he's saying is true. Every day is a new day. Every day that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you the ability to wake up, this is a new day. But Imam Ali, once he saw that a gift came, jokingly he said, let every day be a new day. Let every day be Nowruz. So this is one of the love languages. When you give a gift, this is going to strengthen the relationship. Fourth, for some, they don't care about the gift. They don't care about the quality time. They want acts of service. Acts of service, meaning one day the husband, in order to make his wife happy, let him go and, for example, clean the whole garage. Let him go and clean the basement. Let him do something as a service in the house. Of course, this doesn't mean that this is the job of the wife. A lot of people, especially in our cultures, they think that the chores in the house, the cleaning, the cooking, this is automatically the task of the wife. No one said that. It needs to be shared. And sometimes in acts of service, for example, the wife, she helps her husband in something that is in his field, she comes and she helps him with that. This is going to make the relationship stronger. Sometimes the husband, he comes and he helps the wife in something that is in her field as well. And finally, physical touch. Some people, they need, a hug every once in a while, to hold their hands. This is also a language of love. This is a way of communicating. And this is how to keep the relationship healthy. So we spoke about certain things that destroy the marriage. The first is being selfish. The second is lack of proper communication. And these were 5 ways to communicate properly. Now, there's a third thing that also destroys relationships in this current era. A contemporary challenge that many marriages and many relationships are dealing with. And that is the existence of social media, the existence of the iPhone, the phones, Facebook, WhatsApp. These social media apps are meant to bring us to communicate with one another, meant to bring us to socialize with one another. It's meant to bring us all closer to one another. But you see that it's bringing the people who are supposed to be close with one another very far from one another. Because of Facebook, because of WhatsApp, because of Twitter, because of Instagram, because of, what's the name of the other one? Snapchat. Because of Snapchat. So you see that it's making relationships be destroyed. It's destroying relationships. And this is a problem. I read a study that people on average spend at least 50 minutes a day on Facebook. 50 minutes are gone just by scrolling. Okay, this person did this in their life, this person said this person did that. You go to Instagram after Facebook, and then you go and you see, okay, this is what they had for lunch, this is what they had for dinner, this is the new dress she was wearing, this is this and that. Wasting time. Sitting and wasting time. After you put the phone down, you come and you see, what did I achieve right now during this hour and a half? I didn't achieve anything. Another way that social media is destroying families is because there's no privacy anymore. Everything in their life, from what they ate, where they went out on their vacation, what did they do today, what did they have for breakfast, lunch, dinner, everything is meant for the whole world to see. It takes away anything special. What's unique left for the family? If I'm going to post everything for the whole world to see, then what have I left for the family? What's going to remain private? So this is also a challenge. Also, another thing, the selfie, you bring your phone and you hold it in front of your face and you take a picture. I was reading a study about this. It says that this is unhealthy. Why? Because when you take a selfie, who gets to see you this close? When you put the phone right here, who gets to see you this close? Usually strangers or your friends outside, when they're saying salam to you, when they're talking to you, they're standing at least 3 feet away from you. But when you come and you have your picture from this angle very close, this is an intimate picture that only people who are close to you have the right to see. But when you come and you're showing the whole world from that angle and from that very closeness, this could be a problem. Potentially, I'm not saying every selfie is haram. We're not Salafis to say selfie is haram. But selfie, it might cause problems. And this is generally social media as a whole. It is something that you need to be aware of. We're not saying it's haram to have social media. No. Have it, use it in the proper way, use it in the halal way. Make sure it's monitored, especially if you have children. Today, a lot of people, their children, they have access to everything. They could talk to people 5,000 miles away and they don't even know it. This destroys families. This destroys relationships. So this is the third challenge. A fourth challenge to relationships and marriage and family is when someone is lying. Lying is a disease. It destroys any relationship, and it also destroys the relationship of the family. It destroys marriages. إنما يفتري الكذب الذين لا يؤمنون بآيات الله. The ones who lie, they are the ones who do not believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is what the Quran says. وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْكَاذِبُونَ. When you are lying, you're taking away the trust from people. No one is going to be able to trust you. No one is going to be able to listen to you. No one's going to be able to accept what you say. Now, if a stranger does not trust me, this is not a big deal. But if your family does not trust you anymore, then this is a major problem. When the wife does not trust her husband, when the husband cannot trust his wife, this is a major problem, and it destroys relationships. It destroys relationships. When you are lying, it's going to, sooner or later, you're going to get caught. That's one. A lot of people that lie, they think that they're never going to get caught. No. Sooner or later, you're going to get caught. And second, be truthful and you will find that Allah will be there for you. Be truthful. Even if it's something that goes against you, be truthful and you will find a solution. Fifth and finally, anger. Being angry. This destroys the relationships. Someone who's a short-tempered person. Someone who no one could talk to this person. As soon as they say anything to them, right away they begin yelling. Right away they begin yelling and they become angry. And this is a problem. This is a problem for everyone. And it makes you someone who no one could tolerate you. Not only does it make people not want to be around this person who's angry, it's going to destroy your health. Someone who's angry, you see, the doctor will tell them you have stress, you have diabetes, you have blood pressure, you have this and that, because you're always angry. You're ruining your own life. According to a hadith from Rasulullah, he says, Al-ghadab yufsidu al-iman kama yufsidu al-khal al-asal. He says, anger destroys your faith just like vinegar destroys honey. In another hadith, وعن أبي عبد الله عليه السلام, he tells him, مكتوب في التوراة فيما ناجى الله عز وجل به موسى. Allah tells Musa in a hadith Qudsi, he tells him, يا موسى أمسك غضبك عمن ملكت عليك أكف عنك غضبي. He says, oh Musa, control your anger from someone who you have the ability to be angry with this person. I will control my anger with you. I'm not going to be angry with you. And of course, some people, they can't control it. But there are ways to deal with anger. You know, you could go and take an anger management class. You could go, it's recommended to do wudu when you're angry. Go wash your face. Go take a walk. Do something. Go and pray. Do something that will take your mind off of what you're thinking about. Because it's our thoughts that control our mood, which controls our actions. So from the beginning, control your thoughts. Control what's in your mind. Don't put yourself in a position where you're going to be angry, so that the anger will not destroy you and destroy other people around you. Now, is anger always a bad thing? No. Sometimes anger is good. Being angry for the sake of Allah is a good thing. Al-ghadab lillah. Standing and going against people for the sake of God, for the sake of higher values, for the sake of principles, there is nothing wrong with that. And this is what Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam did. Imam al-Hussein, some people, they tell him, what's wrong with you? Just give bay'ah. Why do you have to be so, stubborn? Why do you have to stand against Yazid? Come and give bay'ah. Imam al-Hussein, he says, no. Here, I'm not going to compromise my faith. I'm willing to spill my own blood. I'm willing to harm my own family and my children and put them in harm's way, but I'm not going to sacrifice my faith. I'm not going to compromise my relationship with my Lord. And this is why Imam al-Hussein stood against Yazid. And this is why a handful of individuals were with Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. And one of them was Al-Qasim ibn al-Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam. Qasim, the son of Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam. Imam al-Hasan passed away. He was poisoned 10 years before Ashura. Qasim was a young child, 3 years old perhaps. He came in the custody of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. Imam al-Hussein raised him. Imam al-Hussein helped him. Imam al-Hussein was there for him. And on the night of Ashura, Imam al-Hussein, he tells everyone, tomorrow, if everyone who remains will be killed. Al-Qasim, he doesn't know whether he's going to be included with the men or he's with the children, because he was at an age where he was in between, either with the children or with the men. He was 13 years old. So Al-Qasim, he raises his hands and he asks Imam al-Hussein, he tells him, oh my dear uncle, will I also be killed tomorrow? Imam al-Hussein, he asks him, Ya Qasim, kayfa tara al-maut? Oh Qasim, how do you perceive death? Al-Qasim, he replies to Imam al-Hussein, he tells him, في نصرتك أحلى من العسل. In aiding you, death is sweeter than honey. Then Imam al-Hussein tells him, yes, O Qasim, you will be killed tomorrow. And do you know who else will be killed tomorrow? Even my son Abdullah al-Radi', he will also be a martyr tomorrow. Al-Qasim alayhi salam, on the day of Ashura, he came to ask for permission from Imam al-Hussein to go out into the battle. Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, he tells him, oh Qasim, anta al-wadi'atu min akhi. Oh Qasim, you are the son, you are the remaining son of my brother Imam al-Hasan. When I look at you, I remember my brother Hassan. Al-Qasim kept insisting until Imam al-Hussein gave him permission to go out and fight. Al-Qasim, he said his farewell to Imam al-Hussein. Imam al-Hussein, he tells him, oh my dear Qasim, go and enter into the tent and ask your mother for permission. Go and say your final farewell to your mother, to the woman, to your aunt. He goes in, he says his permission, he says his farewell. His mother gives him permission. They begin to cry. They tell him, Ya Qasim, irham ghurbatana. Oh Qasim, who will remain after you? Al-Qasim, he was determined. He goes out into the middle of the battle and he begins to announce who he is. He begins reciting the epic, إن تنكروني فأنا نجل الحسن صبط النبي المصطفى والمؤتمن هذا حسين كالأسير المرتهن بين أناس لا سقوا صوب المزن. He goes out like the moon, like a full moon. He goes out and he begins to fight them courageously. As he is fighting, Al-Qasim, his sandal strap breaks. He goes down to fix his sandal. A wicked man, he approaches him and he strikes him on his head. Al-Qasim falls to the ground, and as he is falling, he calls out, Ya Am, oh my uncle, come to my aid. Imam al-Hussein, he rushes to Qasim. He sees that Al-Qasim has passed away, and he begins to cry, and he begins to say, يعز الله على عمك أن تدعوه فلا يجيبك أو يجيبك فلا يعينك بعدا لقوم قتلوك خصمهم يوم القيامة جدك وأبوك هذا والله يوم كثر واتره وقل ناصره. Imam al-Hussein, he carries al-Qasim, and they notice that the feet of Qasim are dragging on the ground. What does this mean, my dear brothers and sisters? This means that the back of Imam al-Hussein was broken with the loss of Qasim. He came and he placed him in the tent next to Ali al-Akbar. He begins to cry for Ali al-Akbar on one side, and on another side he cries for Qasim. Ramlah, the mother of Qasim, she was waiting outside the tent. She was embarrassed to enter and cry in front of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. So Imam al-Hussein, he knew that his mother was waiting outside. So he left and she came. She sat over the head of her beloved son, and she begins to cry for al-Qasim. Everyone recite with me what the mother of Al-Qasim, she began to tell her son Al-Qasim. Qasim, oh Qasim, my dear son Qasim, my dear son Qasim. Qasim, oh Qasim, my dear son Qasim, my dear son Qasim, my dear son Qasim. Everyone recite with me and let your voice reach the Baqi', the grave of Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam, so he hears that you are mourning his son al-Qasim. Qasim, oh Qasim, my dear son Qasim, my dear son Qasim, my dear son Qasim. You are my flower, you are the joy of my eyes. You are my flower, you are the joy of my eyes. My heart is heavy, but the time has come to answer the call of your lonely uncle, who has been left all alone in Karbala. Qasim, oh Qasim, my dear son Qasim, my dear son Qasim. Qasim, oh Qasim, my dear son Qasim, my dear son Qasim. When you fell and were slain, my heart felt such great pain. When you fell and were slain, my heart felt such great pain. You honored your father and brought pride to your mother. Qasim, oh Qasim, my dear son Qasim. Qasim, oh Qasim, my dear son Qasim. When you see the prophet, tell him I left my mother all alone. When you see the prophet, tell him I left my mother all alone, with my Aunt Zainab and the women and children Qasim, dear son of Qasim, you are my flower, you are the joy of my eyes, you are the shining star that did not remain. Qasim, oh Qasim, my dear son Qasim. Qasim, oh Qasim, my dear son Qasim. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله، السلام عليك وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك وأناخت برحلك. عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى وعلى أصحاب الحسين، وإلى أرواح المؤمنين والمؤمنات نهدي ثواب الفاتحة مع الصلوات.